Exposed, heartbreaking betrayal leads to life-changing transformation after 3 years of deception. In a sleepy little town where everyone knows everyone, Sarah's world is spinning out of control. At 35, she works 2 grueling jobs, putting in long hours at the local diner and scrubbing floors at the community center, all while supporting her 15-year-old daughter, Lily. Day after day, she wears a brave face, pushing through with a resilience that's nothing short of extraordinary. But behind that smile, heartache lurks like a shadow. Her husband, a decorated military veteran, has been lying to her for the past 3 years. When Sarah stumbles upon the truth, it hits her like a freight train. Deception has wrapped its cold fingers around her heart, twisting and tightening, leaving her breathless. Betrayal seeps into the core of her life, and she grapples with feelings of inadequacy, all while the townsfolk whisper behind her back. The laughter of families at the diner feels mocking, as if they're celebrating a life she can no longer claim. She feels stripped bare, losing not just her husband but also her dignity, yet, resilience is an American virtue, and the diner transforms into more than just a workplace, it becomes a refuge. Customers lean into her, sharing stories that mirror her pain. There's a kind elderly man who speaks of lost love, his wise eyes holding the weight of experience. Then there's another mother, smiling bravely while battling her own invisible struggles. They offer bits of comfort, igniting a flicker of hope within her weary heart. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Motivated by her newfound support, Sarah finally confronts her husband. The conversation is raw, laced with pain and anger. Each word spoken feels like a battle, as the scars of deceit are laid bare. It's in this moment of vulnerability that she finds her strength. Voicing her pain becomes a release, an act of defiance against the shadows that have haunted her. As she heals, Sarah decides to launch a support group at the community center for other struggling parents. She pours her heart into this initiative, and soon, the community begins to rally around her vulnerable efforts. She discovers that by giving, she receives in return tenfold. With each new friend and shared experience, Sarah learns about resilience and community strength. But amidst the kindness and support, the question lingers in her mind: can she find it in her heart to forgive her husband? As whispers fade into cheers, she is faced with a bittersweet moment: a community service award that forces her to confront not just the town's perception of her, but her decision on her family. Gazing out at familiar faces filled with admiration and skepticism, the weight of uncertainty hangs heavy. This moment is crucial. It could redefine her future forever. Can she move forward, or will the lingering threads of betrayal forever tie her to the past? The evening air was thick with anticipation as Sarah stood behind the podium, holding the Community Service Award in her trembling hands. The town hall was packed, friends and neighbors filling the rows with eager faces, some hopeful, others questioning. Her heart raced, and she felt those familiar shadows creeping back, threatening to overshadow the small light she had begun to cultivate. As she scanned the crowd, her eyes rested on Lily, sitting with her chin propped on her hands, a worried expression etched on her youthful face. Sarah had worked tirelessly to create a sense of normalcy for her daughter after everything that had happened. But now, in this moment, she wondered if all her efforts were enough. Could she truly inspire hope in others when her own heart felt so fragmented? "Thank you all for being here tonight," Sarah began, her voice wavering slightly but gaining strength with each word. "When I started this support group, I didn't know what to expect. I just knew that I wanted to reach out, to connect with others who know the weight of carrying hidden burdens." As she spoke, Sarah could see the reactions around her. A mother wiped tears from her eyes, a man nodded quietly, while others leaned in, hungry for shared understanding. It was as if the collected pain in the room shimmered like a fragile thread, binding them together. She continued, her spirit ignited by the realization that they weren't alone. We have all faced our trials: heartbreak, betrayal, isolation. I stand here as living proof that healing is possible not just for ourselves, but for our families. Together, we can rebuild. We can create a space where love triumphs over hurt. Applause erupted in the hall, loud and passionate. It was a wave of support, a choir of voices who understood the journey Sarah had made. Yet, even as adrenaline rushed through her, there was a crack within her heart that feared the unformed answer to the question that haunted her: could she truly forgive? Just as the clapping subsided, the doors creaked open, and Sarah's husband stepped inside. The air shifted, a wave of disbelief and tension rippling through the audience. She felt like a deer caught in headlights, her thoughts tumbling over one another. How could he have come here, after everything? "Sarah," he said, his voice barely breaking above the stunned silence. I had to see you. I've made mistakes, but I want to make it right." His eyes searched hers, filled with a desperation that sent a jolt of confusion through her. Her stomach twisted, emotions churning dangerously close to the surface. The very person who had shattered her world stood before her, pleading for another chance. Uncertainty wrapped around her like a heavy blanket. Could she dig deep enough to find forgiveness? Would that mean opening old wounds? The faces of her friends reflected varied emotions: surprise, anger, concern. They were there for her, but what about him? As the room waited, breaths held tight in suspense, Sarah felt an undeniable choice looming ahead. Could she embrace the possibility of a future that included healing, or was she standing on the precipice of a decision that might change everything for better or worse? And with that question echoing in the silent hall, she stood at a crossroads. The next words she chose could alter every relationship in her life, but could they also heal the deepest scars? With her heart pounding, she prepared to speak, ready to address something far more complicated than just a betrayal. Time seemed to stand still as Sarah looked at the man she once loved, the man who had turned her world upside down. Every heartbeat echoed in her ears, drowning out the murmurs around her. Her instincts screamed at her to flee, to escape the very sight of him, and yet, there was a part of her that longed to understand, to know why he was here after everything they had been through. "Why now?" she finally asked, her voice raw but steady. "Why come here? Why me?" His shoulders slumped, and he took a step closer as if trying to bridge the immense chasm that had formed between them. "Because I can't live with the weight of my mistakes anymore. I've seen how I've hurt you and Lily, and I want to learn how to be better." His eyes burned with sincerity, and for a fleeting moment, she thought she saw a glimmer of the man she had fallen in love with. "Better?" she repeated, biting back the bitter taste of the word. "You think it's that simple? You don't get to just walk in here and pretend everything is fine. You've shattered trust. You've torn apart our family." The air in the room thickened with tension, the listeners caught in the whirlpool of Sarah's emotions. She could feel their concern, their unspoken support. Yet, each glimmer of hope felt heavy, laden with doubt and confusion. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness," he said, his voice now a whisper, "but I need to say it. I am sorry. I am so sorry for everything." Silence swallowed the room again. Sarah didn't know what to do. In those seconds, it felt as though her heart was trapped between the longing for healing and the weight of betrayal. Lily's worried face flashed through her mind, her daughter who had been through so much. Sarah had vowed to always protect her. "Do you even realize what you've put your family through?" she implored, her eyes locked onto his. "Do you understand the pain? The fear? The nights I lay awake, wondering how to pick up the pieces?" "I do," he said, his lips trembling. "And that's why I'm here. To face this, to face you. I can't change the past. But I'm willing to fight for our future if you'll let me." A collective gasp brushed through the crowd. Every face held an expression of disbelief, or perhaps it was concern for what Sarah might decide in this moment of vulnerability. "Fight for a future?" she echoed. "You broke our family. You thought of yourself for so long. How can I trust you to do anything differently now?" Because I've spent every day since regretting it. I've changed. I'm ready to put in the work. The words hung in the air, pleading, yet something inside Sarah recoiled. Was she ready to let him back in? To consider the possibility of reconciliation? The weight of every choice loomed over her, and with it came the realization that forgiving him meant more than just accepting his words. It meant opening a door she had closed, one that could lead to healing or deeper pain. With each breath, she felt the divide between her past and potential future growing smaller. Her heart pounded, nerves alight as she clutched the podium tightly, ready to make a decision that could alter the trajectory of their lives forever. She searched the audience for Lily's face, hoping to find strength and clarity in her daughter's expression. Maybe you can change, but what about us? She whispered, her voice trembling under the weight of the moment. And as the room filled with a silence so intense it felt alive, Sarah realized that whatever direction she chose, it would be a step into an uncertain journey. But could she really take that first step toward a new beginning? The weight of Sarah's choice pressed heavily on her chest, each heartbeat sinking with the anxious breaths of those around her. The collective silence felt like a living entity, pulsing with hope, fear, and a sense of impending revelation. She could still see the concern etched on Lily's youthful face, and it ignited a fire within Sarah, one that made her realize she owed it to her daughter to make the right decision. Fight for our future. She repeated, her voice gaining strength. What does that even mean to you? Words can't heal the scars you've left. Promises, they don't mean anything without action. I know, he said softly, stepping closer yet again, almost pleading. But let me show you. Give me a chance to prove it. I'm committed to being better, not just for you, but for Lily too. The murmurs in the room escalated, uncertainty swirling like leaves in a gusty wind. Sarah could see the tension on the faces of their friends, their shared history weighing heavily on the moment. Did he really think that a few words could mend what had been broken? Her mind raced, replaying memories of laughter, shared dreams, the innocent hopes of their family. And then the betrayal that shattered it all. I've spent years piecing my life back together, navigating this storm that you left behind. I can't just let you waltz back into our lives as if nothing happened. Her voice rose, trembling slightly, each word laced with the pain of years lost. I don't expect you to forget. But Sarah, I'm different now. I have changed. This is more than just an apology, he insisted, frustration starting to weave into his tone. I'm willing to fight, to earn back your trust, every single day. She blinked back tears, the truth of his words crashing into the wall of her resolve. It wasn't just his apology that rattled her, it was the possibility of a different future, one where Lily could have a father who was present, who cared. But could she bear the risk? Just give me time, he implored, his voice cracking under the weight of his emotions. Time to show you that I can be someone you can look at without feeling disgust, someone you can hope for. The room felt electric, vibrating with the tension of unresolved feelings and unanswered questions. She could see others leaning in, their breaths collectively holding the weight of her decision. Sarah searched for the words, for the strength buried deep inside her. Her heart ached, torn between a past she knew and a future that shimmered like a mirage before her. The silence was palpable, drawing out this moment into a heavy eternity. Is it even worth it? She whispered, more to herself than to him, as doubt seeped into her voice. With a trembling resolve, Sarah finally looked at him. What if you hurt us again? I might, he admitted, pain flickering across his face. But I want to know, I can't give up without truly trying. I'm asking for your faith, just a little. The audience held its breath, aware they stood at the precipice of an unimaginable shift. Her heart raced wildly, each second stretching like a tight wire. And as Sarah's eyes darted to Lily once more, seeking an anchor in her daughter's unwavering gaze, something stirred within her. Hope, perhaps. Maybe fear too. But most importantly, clarity. There was a flicker of something new and untested waiting on the horizon. Okay, she breathed, the words seemingly lighter than air. Okay, but what her heart didn't notice was the darker shadows lurking in this new beginning, waiting to pounce when least expected. As the hopefulness of the moment enveloped her, another question loomed, a question that could rip the fragile foundation of their reunion apart. Would he truly keep his word, or was this just another layer of deception waiting to be unraveled? Sarah's heart raced as the crowd erupted into murmurs, their voices a blend of excitement and disbelief. She felt every gaze on her, piercing yet encouraging. But deep down, she was battling her own storm. Her life had been riddled with uncertainty, and now, standing at this crossroads, everything felt like a shaky tightrope. Lily, her beloved daughter, who had been the light in her darkest days, looked up at her with those wide, innocent eyes. There was so much weight in that gaze, a trust that Sarah feared she might shatter. The thought of reassuring her daughter while grappling with the remnants of pain from their past felt like an insurmountable challenge. "Mom." Lily's voice broke through the noise, crystal clear. "Do you think Daddy will really change?" That question pierced Sarah's heart. She could see the hope mingling with fear in Lily's expression. It mirrored her own turmoil. I hope so, sweetheart," she managed, forcing a smile. The truth was, she didn't know. "Hope isn't enough," Lily replied, her youthful wisdom striking Sarah in an unexpected way. "You always say it's about actions." As the innocent words hung between them, Sarah felt the heaviness of responsibility. Were her hopes aligning with the harsh realities of their past? "Daddy said he would fight for us," Lily continued, glancing cautiously at her estranged father. Maybe we should give him a chance." "I don't want to see you get hurt again," Sarah whispered, kneeling to meet her daughter's gaze. "I just want you to be safe." "I know, Mom," Lily replied, her voice small yet steady. "But what if he really means it this time?" The honesty in her daughter's words struck Sarah like a thunderclap. What if he really did? Underneath the layers of pain and betrayal, could there be a glimmer of hope? Could they forge a new path, leave behind the darkness that had haunted them for so long? As she looked back at him, there was sincerity in his eyes, and Sarah felt that flicker of possibility grow. Maybe she wasn't just fighting for herself but for Lily too. Maybe the fight was, after all, about the mother they both longed to be. "Time," she repeated softly, more to herself than anyone else. "Time to see if the scars could truly heal." "Please," he said again, desperation creeping into his voice. "Give me just a little time." "Okay," she replied, already feeling the weight begin to shift. "But we go slow. Really slow. There will be no rushing this. I need to see you prove yourself." He nodded, a flicker of relief washing across his features. But deep inside, the shadows still loomed. As the conversation shifted, Sarah couldn't shake the gnawing doubt. The doubt echoed with every heartbeat. She was stepping into uncertain territory, and uncertainty bred fear. "No pressure, though," she added with a brave smile. But there was a tremor in her laughter, a facade designed to cover the chaos brewing within. The crowd began to disperse, whispers of encouragement floating around her. She felt the warmth of their support, yet all she wanted was to retreat to the safety of her own thoughts. But what if he didn't keep his word? What if this was just the beginning of a larger facade? As she walked away, hand in hand with Lily, Sarah knew this was a fragile step toward healing. With every decision ahead, she felt the cogs of transformation turning. What could their new beginning truly look like? And would the shadows really stay at bay, or linger with every step they took toward rebuilding their lives? The questions haunted her as they headed home, and an icy knot of worry settled in her stomach. Trust was a delicate thread, easily frayed. Would she have the courage to protect her heart while navigating through the land of second chances? The drive home was filled with silence, an unspoken tension hanging thick in the air. Lily was quiet, lost in thought, while Sarah kept her eyes fixed on the road, her heart thundering against her ribs. "Mom." Lily's small voice broke through the silence, pulling Sarah from her whirlwind of thoughts. "Yes, sweetheart. What if he really does change? Could we be a family again? The hopefulness in Lily's question was almost painful to hear. Lily, Sarah sighed, grasping the steering wheel a little tighter. It's complicated. People say things they don't mean. But what if this time he really does want to try? Sarah caught a quick glance at her daughter, her face lit by the passing streetlights, hope mixing with the shadows of doubt in her eyes. I want to believe that. But I have to see it to believe it. We can't rush into anything. Lily nodded, but Sarah could see the flicker of disappointment. She wanted to shield her daughter from the harsh realities of life, yet here they were, poised on the edge of something fragile and new. When they arrived home, Sarah felt the familiar weight of exhaustion creeping in. She let Lily go first, watching her run into the living room, burying herself into her toys or whatever distraction awaited. The walls of their modest home still bore the scars of their past, and that was something Sarah couldn't escape. Okay, she whispered, shaking off her concerns like a heavy coat. Let us take it one day at a time. She set about preparing a quick dinner, her mind drifting again to him, to the promise he made. Did he truly mean it? The uncertainty gnawed at her. If she let hope grow, what would happen if it was crushed again? As she boiled water, memories bubbled to the surface, the laughter, the good times before everything unraveled like a cheap sweater, threads getting pulled one at a time until nothing remained. But then there were darker memories, the screams, the slammed doors, the heartache that once made home feel foreign. Mom! Lily's voice echoed from the living room, breaking through her reverie. What is it, honey? Can you read to me? Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, letting the warmth of her daughter's request wash over her. Sure, just a second. After dinner, they settled on the couch with a stack of well-loved books. As Sarah read aloud, tension highlighted each word, but the comfort of their routine began to ease her mind. The familiar story transported her back to simpler times. But even here, safety felt thin. As they turned the pages, a thought tugged at the edges of her mind. What if tomorrow he showed up wanting to prove himself? Would she be ready? Would she let him walk back in without questioning every motive, every step? Just as she reached the end of a chapter, a knock echoed through their cozy living room. Her heart dropped. Stay here, she whispered to Lily, who nodded, wide-eyed. Sarah walked toward the door, her breath quickening with each step. With a trembling hand, she opened it, and there he stood. A figure she had both yearned for and dreaded all at once. Sarah, his voice was low, tentative, just like the hope that flickered beyond the doorframe. Why are you here? She asked, her tone a mix of challenge and caution. He took a breath, looking into her eyes, and for a brief moment, she thought she might see sincerity. I know I've hurt you, but I need you to listen. As he began to speak, Sarah felt her heart racing, the fragile balance of possibility and fear hanging in the air like a distant storm. Could this be the turning point she feared to embrace, or just another cycle of pain ready to erupt? The answer lay just beyond what he would reveal next. The air was thick with uncertainty as Sarah held the door half open, her heart pounding furiously. She could feel the weight of his presence, both familiar and foreign. Each moment felt suspended in time, stretching into a rhythm of anticipation. Sarah, he said once more, his voice cracking slightly. Please, just give me a chance to explain. Hear me out. She hesitated. The cautious part of her urged her to slam the door and lock it tight, to protect herself and Lily from the hurt he had caused. Yet, the flicker of hope in his eyes pulled at her heartstrings, an old instinct she thought she had buried deep. Come in, she finally muttered, her voice barely above a whisper. She stepped aside, allowing him to cross the threshold and enter the home they once shared. The air felt charged, every dust particle dancing in the spotlight of the living room lamp. He looked around, his gaze lingering on the photos lining the mantel. The images of a family bound by love and laughter sat like haunting reminders of what had been, the echoes of their past filling the silence. I've missed this, he murmured, his voice heavy with regret. Then why did you leave? Sarah asked, her heart and head battling over the need for self-preservation versus the need for connection. He rubbed the back of his neck, a gesture that made old memories bubble up. I was stupid. Caught up in my own mistakes. It took losing everything to realize what I truly want. I want to change, to be better for you and for Lily. The mention of Lily made her heart shatter and stitch back together at the same time. She was living proof of their past, a bond that reminded her of both love and pain. You hurt her, Sarah replied, her eyes narrowing. You don't get to walk back in and just expect everything to be fine. I know I can't change the past, he said urgently. But I want to do better. I've started working on myself. I'm in therapy. Sarah's breath caught. Therapy. It was a step in the right direction, wasn't it? Yet, what did it mean? Why now? She asked, needing something more substantial than a half-hearted promise. Because I can't live with the mistakes I made. I've spent too long pushing people away, and it nearly destroyed me. His hands trembled as he spoke, sincerity flooding his expression. I want to be part of your lives again, but I can't do it without your trust. Trust. The word hung heavily in the air, like a double-edged sword. She realized that the very thing she yearned for hope was also the scariest thing she could grasp. But how do I know this isn't just talk? Sarah could feel the walls she had built around her heart teetering, daring to creak open just slightly. How can I believe you won't hurt us again? I'll prove it. He exclaimed, desperation tinging his voice. Name your conditions. I'll do whatever it takes. Just give me a chance. They locked eyes, and in that moment, Sarah felt a flicker of something real. Was it hope? Fear? Or merely the remnants of a love that had weathered storms? Before she could respond, Lily appeared in the doorway, her innocence radiating like sunlight. Mom, who is that? Sarah's heart sank. This was the moment she had dreaded. Their daughter had been too young to understand everything before. Now, she stood on the threshold of uncertainty, waiting to be introduced to a man who had once shattered their world. As Sarah opened her mouth to speak, a storm of emotions brewed within her. Could she really let this man back into their lives? Did she dare to open that door again? Mom. Lily's curious voice broke through the chaos in Sarah's mind. Do I tell her the truth? The question weighed heavily as the man stood silently, both pleading and patient. With the pivotal decision rippling through the air, Sarah realized that her next words could change everything. Could she trust him enough not just to open the door, but to walk through it herself? Sarah felt her throat tighten as she looked between Lily and the man who had been both her heart and her villain. She wanted to shield Lily from the truth, to protect her childhood innocence. Yet, as her daughter's bright eyes searched for answers, a deeper yearning bubbled up within her. This was a moment that could forge their future. Lily, this is your dad, she said quietly, holding her breath. Lily furrowed her brow, taking a small step forward, confusion etched across her little face. But I thought he didn't want to see us anymore. The question hung in the air like a fragile glass ornament, and every part of it stung. His decisions hurt us, honey, but he's trying to make things right, Sarah said, forcing the words through a lump in her throat. Trying. Lily's brow knitted tighter. What does that mean? Are you okay with him? The innocence spilled from her voice, making every syllable feel like a dagger. Sarah's heart twisted. I want to believe he can change. But change takes time, and trust isn't given easily. The man, whose presence had once filled their home with warmth, now seemed like a ghost of the memories they shared. As he stepped forward, his hands raised in a gesture of peace, she could see the flicker of pain in his eyes, battling against the hope he had summoned to face them both. Lily, I've made terrible mistakes. I'm sorry for leaving you both. I want to be here for you now, he said, his voice trembling like a leaf in the wind. Sorry isn't enough, Lily shot back stubbornly, a little warrior standing her ground. You hurt us. You made Mom cry. The man's face fell, as if each hurtful word struck him like an arrow. Lily, I know. I know I did all those things, and I can't change that, he began, but she interrupted. But you were supposed to protect us. She folded her arms, her cheeks flushing with indignation as she met his gaze. Tension crackled in the small room, like static before a storm. Sarah bit her lip, torn between shielding her daughter and letting her voice her feelings. This was the rawness that came from betrayal, and she both wanted to shield and support Lily's pain. Yes, I should have protected you, he whispered with conviction. I was weak, and I failed you both. But I can't let myself keep running from the truth. I want to fix this for both of you. Lily's frown wavered for just a moment. You think we can be a family again? Sarah could see the flicker of hope in her daughter's eyes, a glimmer that could ignite if tampered with just right. Yet doubt also danced behind it, the unfulfilled aching that comes from promises left unkept. I don't know, she said honestly, looking back at Lily. It's going to take time. Trust takes time. And that's okay. The man stepped closer, earnestness radiating from him. Even if it takes years. I'm willing to do the work, to earn your trust back, to earn both your love. Sarah's heart raced. The sincerity was there, almost palpable, yet the weight of the past pressed down heavily. Could she allow herself to hope again? To let her heart feel? What if you hurt us again? Lily asked, her voice small yet unwavering. A question that echoed the turmoil within Sarah's heart. Then I'll leave again. I'll understand if you need me to. The acceptance resonated through the room, filling the void between each of them. Yet it also scared Sarah all the more. Maybe we should take baby steps, she suggested, trying to tread carefully. Lily nodded slowly, satisfaction mingling with frustration. Okay. But no more lies. No more lies, he echoed, the promise hanging like fragile glass above their heads. Sarah felt the stirring of hope, but the fear remained. Can I trust him? She thought, the question swirling wildly in her mind. As she faced the two people who meant the most to her, Sarah realized the hardest part was yet to come. Not just the reconciliation, but the journey they would all need to navigate together. And just then, she knew the truth was out there, waiting, the truth of whether they could truly become whole again. Let us talk, she finally said, taking a deep breath. But could a conversation really heal the wounds of the past? A shadow danced at the edges of her thoughts, whispering that the hardest parts might still be ahead. Where do we start? Sarah asked, her voice slightly trembling as she tried to maintain the delicate balance between hope and caution. The air felt dense with unspoken feelings, and every second stretched between them like a taut rubber band ready to snap. The man took a deep breath, his eyes darting between mother and daughter as if searching for a thread to weave their stories together. We start with the truth, right? No more hiding. No more lies. Lily's small hands fisted tightly by her sides, taking in his words with skepticism. She stepped closer to Sarah, seeking the comfort of her mother's presence, as if sensing the weight of this moment was too heavy to bear alone. Tell me how you think it's going to go, Lily finally said, her voice strong but edged with vulnerability. You come back, say you're sorry. Then what? Do we start having dinner together? Do you expect me to hug you? His face flickered with regret. I know I don't deserve anything from either of you. But I want to earn that trust back, starting today. I want to be involved in your lives by doing what? Lily interjected, her words sharp and high-pitched. You can't just show up and expect it to be okay. It's not like that. Sarah gripped her daughter's shoulder lightly, a silent reminder to be patient. He's right about one thing, Lily. It's not going to be easy, but if he's really committed, then we will give him a chance, at least a small one. A chance? Lily's eyes narrowed with doubt. What if he lets us down again? Again and again? The man's expression hardened, an edge of resolve lining his features. I understand your fears, but I need you to know that I am prepared to do whatever it takes. It won't be an easy ride. But I want to be there in the everyday moments. I want to be your dad. Being a dad isn't just wanting, Lily challenged, her small frame radiating defiance. It's about being there, not running away. You just disappeared, and Mom had to pick up all those pieces alone. Oh, Lily, Sarah whispered, her heart breaking all over again at the raw honesty of her daughter's words. Silence fell as the man rubbed the back of his neck, looking down. There was guilt etched on his face, a recognition of the pain he had caused. You're right, he finally said, his voice small. There's nothing I can say to fix the past. I can only hope to build a future. Hope. Lily echoed bitterly. Hope doesn't fix anything. I know, but I think he hesitated, searching for the right words. I think we can begin there. With hope. I'll show up, and I'll listen. I promise to be there, to help. Because I love you both. The three of them stood stuck in a moment of stillness, the air shimmering with tension and uncertainty. Sarah's heart raced as images flashed in her mind, dinners filled with laughter, road trips they could take as a family, moments at the park. But they all felt fragile, like a sandcastle about to be washed away. Why are you really back? Lily asked, her innocence masked by a protective hue. What do you want from us? I want to be your dad, he replied, conviction pouring from every word. I miss you both. I've missed so much already. If it means working hard to prove that I can be there for you, then I'm ready. Your actions need to speak, not just your words, Sarah interjected gently, her heart thundering in her chest. Understandable. You both can set the pace. Their eyes met for a fragile moment. Mother, daughter, father caught in a web of mixed emotions. Hope, anger, confusion. Sarah felt the tremor of possibility sneaking in, a small bud pushing through concrete in her heart. Can this really work? Can you not just expect us to jump back into your life? Walk the line, one small step at a time. But you also have to show us every day that this isn't just a dream. Small steps it is, I promise. As gratitude lifted the burden off her chest, tears prickled at the corners of Sarah's eyes, but they felt different this time. They were a mix of trepidation and a flutter of cautious joy. Let's take those steps together, she said, glancing down at Lily. But deep down, anxiety coiled. Tighter around her heart. Was it really enough to simply hope? Just as a sense of fragile calm settled over the room, a loud crash erupted from the next room, and their world spun once more. What other secrets lay hidden in their tangled past that would come rushing back to confront them? The door swung open, crashing against the wall, revealing a scene that sent a jolt through Sarah's heart. It was their living room, still untouched in its chaos, toys strewn across the floor, and a lamp flickering suspiciously in the dim light. Lily gasped, and Sarah instinctively stepped in front of her. Mom! What was that? Lily's voice trembled, innocence battling fear. It's okay, honey, Sarah said, her voice softer than it felt. She turned toward the man, who stood stiffly behind them, both hope and uncertainty mingling in his eyes. I'll check it out, he offered, echoing the instinct of a protector, a role he had long abandoned. With a cautious nod, Sarah stepped aside, allowing him to pass. That as he moved into the next room, Sarah felt her heart race again. The ghosts of their past were creeping back, and she didn't know if she was ready to confront them. Moments felt like days as he disappeared from view. Silence enveloped them, thick enough to slice through. The weight of unspoken fears settled heavily. Lily clutched at Sarah's hand, squeezing it tightly. What if it's something bad, Mom? What if he's not really back? The question hung in the air. He's trying, sweetheart. He really is. But was it enough? In the stillness, Sarah caught her breath. Each second felt caught in a tidal wave of hopes and buried fears. Would this even work? Time felt wobbly, as if she were standing on the edge of a cliff. As a figure appeared in the doorway, the floodgates of emotion spilled open within her. He was back, holding the lamp, a sheepish grin forming on his face. Just a blown fuse. I got it. Lily rolled her eyes but couldn't suppress a small smile that danced at the corner of her mouth. Seriously? You scared us half to death. The atmosphere was shifting, slowly, cautiously. Sarah watched hope weave its way back into their space. Maybe that's how it's going to be, after all, she thought. Is it too much to ask for a peaceful evening? Sarah quipped with a chuckle, her heart relaxing slightly. You don't need to recreate the drama. He stepped forward, placing the lamp back on the table. From now on, I promise it will be quiet, I'll just be here. The sincerity behind his words seeped into Sarah's heart, igniting a small spark of that familiar warmth. Lily looked between them, uncertainty clouding her expression. Can we really be a family again? It was a question that resonated through the room, each syllable resonant like a drum. Yet, that question was softened by the sight of her father ready to take that first step, ready to surpass the past. Let's take our time, Sarah said gently, looking into Lily's eyes, then shifting to the man whose presence both thrilled and terrified her. We'll take those baby steps together. He nodded, tears glistening in his eyes as a smile broke free. I'll show you. One day at a time. Sarah felt her heart swell. This was the moment, the fragile turning point where hope ignited. They could build a new narrative, a new family story, shaped by resilience, determination, and love. Yet in the back of her mind lingered the shadows of their past. She couldn't ignore them, but she would face them. Together. Let's start with dinner, Sarah said, her voice breaking the tension. We can all cook together. There was laughter now, a sound that felt foreign yet comforting. Mom, you just want to eat my cooking. Lily teased, a twinkle returning to her eyes. Hey. Your cooking is delicious. I'll help. The three of them moved into the kitchen, the conversations layering over one another, laughter echoing off the walls once again. The warmth of possibility wrapped around them, shielding from the frigid past. Each small action built a bridge, slicing vegetables, stirring pots, playfully arguing over recipe choices. The kitchen transformed into a haven where new memories could unfold, bringing unity back where division once thrived. As they gathered around the table, Sarah took a moment to inhale deeply, absorbing the energy shifting in the room, a blend of hope, love, and the sweet aroma of a new beginning. Here's to new starts, she proposed, holding out her glass. To new beginnings. Lily echoed, her youthful voice adding buoyancy to the moment. But as her husband joined the toast, the flicker of doubt momentarily passed through her heart. What if this change turned out to be just another illusion? Yet, as he caught her eye, sincerity shone brightly in his gaze. Silently, she acknowledged that they were stepping into unknown territory, fastening their bond with promises wrapped in second chances, and together they began, small steps leading them toward a horizon painted with the colors of resilience. Are you ready? Sarah whispered to herself. She didn't know where this journey would lead, but for now, they were together, and that meant everything. So, she decided to keep going. To keep believing. Her hand shook slightly as she raised her glass, but her heart felt steady. It was time to embrace the light ahead. Let's make this work, one heartbeat at a time. Now, if you've enjoyed this journey and want to dive deeper and be part of these powerful transformations, you need to subscribe now. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Every click counts. And I want to hear from you. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending below. Your thoughts matter. Let us inspire one another.